You guys can sit right now. Heard anything yet? Yeah, I heard from almost all principals, so some of them are yes, we can do it, but most of them are. Yeah, so I have to know. I got it wrong. Okay, you're up. Well, I told them how
Yes. Camera's right there, so you gotta do your best. So. We can move that.
No, just whatever you have. Yeah. Oh, no, now you're not.
Well, I'll be coming back in about 30 seconds.
health and safety around COVID. Only those on the agenda are in attendance in person. The public may participate in this meeting live via our YouTube channel. A link to the YouTube channel for this meeting is included in the meeting agenda, which can be found on the webpage at murrayschools.org under the Board of Education link. As posted on the agenda for this meeting, public comments could be emailed to info@murrayschools.org until 5 p.m. As posted on the agenda for the meeting, public comments could be emailed to info@murrayschools.org. All public comments will be read by Doug Perry, who is over communications and public information of the district office. The board welcomes public comments. The purpose of public comments is the public to inform the board about their views. The board does not enter into dialogue on public comments. And with that, we will begin with our Pledge of Allegiance, and our business administrator, Richard Reese, is going to lead us in that.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we will move to approving our consent agenda. So I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
And a second.
A second.
And any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the consent agenda? And any opposed? Great, thank you. And then we'll move on to our delegation. And first up, we have PTA, our Hillcrest and Riverview Junior High Schools. And we have president from the Hillcrest, Jeanette Bowen, and president from Riverview, Jen Hayes. So I'll turn the time over to them.
I'm going to stay away. Yes, I'm Jeanette Bowen. Technically the acting PTA president at Hillcrest Junior High, because I was not able to find a president, and as the region director, is my role to step in if there's not a PTA president. But I have enjoyed it, mostly because these are just rock star kids. They're just amazing. So just like most PTAs, we've been limited in our ability to be in the school and what we can do. We have tried to boost teacher morale with treats in their boxes, notes from students, encouraging our families to be extra thankful for them and let them know that. But the PTA really does, at Hillcrest, play a supportive role to the incredible kids that go to Hillcrest. I am so thrilled to have with me tonight Malia, Sadie, Zoe, and Grace. They are student body officers at Hillcrest, and I've asked them to come and share with you some of the great things that they have already done this school year and things that they have coming up on the horizon too.
Hello, my name is William Smith. I'm a one of the things that we have done this year, or that we are is functional goods is a supply room for our students, filled with clothes, food, toiletries, and other necessities. We have a room in the office for all the donations. We started there at functional goods, which is one of our students to go at home, and so our students can have things for it. We have reached out to many companies, and we have Walmart, and we are still looking reach out to companies for donations. And we're doing this so students can help us during this hard time, especially. And that's what things are doing this year.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sadie Ballard. I'm also an SBO. Another thing we did and kind of doing is Summer Santa. So Hillcrest got 20 families, and 10 families are our dance company worked on it and we did. So we split into groups and we each had a $140 budget. And what was not included in the budget was like hats and coats and gloves and that were already provided. And we kind of shopped with, we had a list of things they liked and we shopped for them. And Monday we're wrapping them. And, yeah.
Great, thank you.
I'm sorry. Something we've been doing throughout the years is weekly announcements. So every week we film announcements like students of the week and teachers and staff of the facilities. There's usually 3 students, 1 day, and teacher and staff. We kind of just like put information that the students can read to the video and show every week. And another thing is, which is another big school day, did a food and code drive. Kind of help. I'm Grace McCray, and one of the things we did, I'm going to speak about is we did Spirit Days. So they're pretty much themed Fridays, so we dress up like, we had dress like a teacher day, decades day. Next week we have ugly sweater day. And basically something for kids to look forward to because of COVID. Some kids, they're not, kind of take away some fun in school, so we want something exciting. And so far it's been working, so we just done the output in the announcement. And then lunches on Saturday, we go and the winner gets a prize.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for these great student body officers? They're great, aren't they? Really, truly stellar. Just to piggyback on what they said, to sharing a little bit about the Latinos in Action. This is a group of about 50 kids as well at Hillcrest, and they have it as one of their elected courses for the whole school year. And like they said, they've helped a ton with the food drive and filling the pantry at Hillcrest, and also doing some lunchtime activities to focus on kindness and gratitude and anti-bullying. They also decorated the school with information about Hispanic Heritage Month. And next week, they're going to begin tutoring in reading and literacy the 4th and 5th grade students in Parkside. And so they will do that twice a week for the rest of the school year. So they really set the example of great leaders and taking a tricky situation of this COVID year and making it positive and making a difference. So if I can just put my region PTA hat on for 1 second, just to give you one quick update too. As a school district, we're down about 350 PTA members this year, which is not super surprising, but it's not where we want to be. And so I would like to invite each of the school board members to join one of our local PTAs. It can all be done online, which is super great and easy. And if you'll drop me an email, I can let me know what school PTA you'd like to join. I will send you a link to their store. And then the other exciting news is that we, the Utah PTA, just entered into an MOU with Protect Utah. And Protect Utah is a nonprofit organization that's raising awareness for human trafficking and working to help get our teachers, administrators, and all of our district employees trained, whether they're a teacher and a classroom student or all the way to bus drivers and cafeteria workers, all these great workers in our schools, so that they are aware of signs that they can watch for if there's a student that is a victim of this awful crime. I had their director come to my PTA meeting today, our regional meeting, and do a brief training to our PTA presidents, and we're looking to schedule a Zoom training. It's not ideal to do it over Zoom, but we have to. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and we thought that would be perfect timing to get this information into the families and community members within Murray. Sadly, it is probably more prevalent than we would like to admit, but by having understanding and knowledge, then we can do a lot of prevention and we can help a lot of students in those situations. So we're excited about that and look forward to scheduling that and hopefully get the word out and get people interested in opening up this conversation. So thank you.
Thank you, students. You looks like you have a great leadership. And we have Riverview.
They'll support her. We love her. Okay, that's good. They might be saying, they're gonna stall. I know we can bring us to our. Yeah, I guess we get to this one. I'm Jennifer Davies, and I'm actually the president of Bobby Villa. Both two individuals have had marine heritage. We have a lot of pride in marine. We want to see our marine schools flourish. And so it's a really great opportunity, especially in a very challenging year, to serve at Riverview. The biggest challenge that we've all talked about as we report what the PTA is doing at Riverview this year is how do we connect when we can't be in school. We're both people, individuals, and not to be in school is really hard, especially interacting with kids. And so we've really tried to work with our board and the two of us to come up with ways to connect and help our teachers feel supported. We realize in talking to principals, other teachers, they're not even going into the faculty room, obviously, to eat, they can't. Our students are, our teacher rep who supported them. We'll say to her, what are the needs for raising teachers? I don't only talk to the teachers. And that makes us sad. We're all missing this human interaction. So we kind of just tried our focus as a team is to really focus on just helping those teachers and our students when there's a little less than PTA. So Bobby's going to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, we are both together teachers a lot, which we focus on the kids, but we have teachers, our kids, I mean, my kids will be surviving, being the kids, teachers, my kids, so, we know to keep their morale up, so they can continue to teach my kids, because I can't. So, we started off with a little treat, September, we put together a little bit. And we started off with it's just that stress is just a dessert spell pack. So eat a good one. So we have one for you guys because we love treats. It's stressful to do all this. So we started off that and they really love that. And that kind of was eye-opening to us, but just this little thing here. So we came up with a monthly tree. We started off with face mask, those cups that help the mask so you can talk. They seem to like those. But what we came up with was a drink bar. We have a soda bar in the practicing room, and we keep it stocked. So I haven't actually put a couple ice machine on now. And so even Pebble Ice, they can get their drink and go. So all the flavors, we have the cream, the lime, the half and half, whatever, just like going to Soda Loses. Keep the fridge stocked with soda as much as we can. Sometimes we like to run out, but then I'm trying to stock it 5 or 2 weeks.
I was just going to say, Principal Kaufman, I was there today, and I did not know that. I went there, well,
It's there, and they love it. So, yeah. So, but what's nice is there's a litmus raspberry to take and go. They're not congregating, but it's something they can take with them. Then we do a monthly treat with it. We've done an apple, caramel apples, we did cookies, but then this month we did a hot chocolate bar. So then they can go in and do a hot chocolate bar. And they seem to enjoy this. However, it costs money, right? So, hey, guess what parents think for? So we sent it out and said, here's what we're doing. And we talk about all the other things we're doing. But we sent out the flyer. It says, if you want to do a fundraiser, so just bring money, or you know what, I have parents bringing in soda to the office. So not them, but they put their child. And that helps too, because the teachers like that. So we're able to locker treat, obviously no lockers. So we're doing a quarterly treat for every student. This time it was part of that fall. So we like, yeah, sorry. So we're just doing a lot of that. We do birthdays monthly for the teachers. Just a lot of support because we can't be there. We constantly intervene, just like what more can we do? We have things coming up that we're going to continue to monthly treats. We're looking at doing like a car wash in the summer, looking at doing getting some students together and scraping windows when it snows. So there's things that we're looking at that we can just help the teachers continue to get by.
Yeah, very good. As she mentioned, we kind of really pushed our efforts to bump up membership for our PTA. We have been challenges to the teachers to get ambulance for driving to see in person to like join. And then, as she mentioned, we've been just overwhelmed by the parent support of getting donations. We've got a really nice amount that we can put towards the community teams, and like you said, give some kind of fun recognition for the students. We are still trying to, in this area, do the token things that we do with PTA. With our membership drive, as I mentioned, that we were able to get like great donations. We are going to do a coat drive. And I think a lot of schools we're going to sponsor the PTA. We're going to have the box and the body and encourage the kids. We can't be in there again with them. But this is how you're connecting with PTA to draw donate coats and pants and boots and hope that they'll bring it because a lot of donation centers right now are closed. So hopefully parents will want to put them there. We are doing we do this in correlation with Mr. Kaufman, the terrific kid, and the teacher teams pick each month 7th grade, 8th, 9th grade kids that are terrific kids. And they're not always like the kids that are the most perfect kids, but they're kids that they see improvement, that they recognize that they get to come into Mr. Kaufman's office, one of us can hear them and he scares them and makes them think they're in big trouble. It's cute. I think it's fun to do too. And then they got they give them a t-shirt, gift cards to some places, $20 bill, candy, they get their picture on the hallway, and they're there all year. And it's just really cool to go and see those kids. And it's not a PTA, we don't need towards that, but we get part of that. We're continuing the spelling bee virtually. We're going to have a spelling bee still. And also we did reflections. We brought a picture of one of our reflections girls going to stay really cool, like glass image photography. So we're trying our like virtual ways to do all this. There's going to be a science fair also. We have a book club still kind of functioning. All different ways. I've heard that they're trying to still do a musical, and I'm going to push for that. Do little vignettes instead of a big show, but we're just doing everything we kind of support to still let these kids have some normalcy in the school year. Teacher dinners, we're very fortunate. We got a lot of extra donations for that. We will do tea, nice meal, provided by restaurants, and really push that into teacher appreciation. People love to be fed, right? And so that's again what our focus is, and just hoping at some point we'll be able to get into the school and give this to these kids. And it's just important. I think you come to a high level, they know their people in the community that love them and care about them. That's our goal this year with junior high. I wish I had more to report on our student. I know our student body officers are leading us up to standing right now, and they do lots of great activities too. I don't know if there's outside demand, but Riverview that there is maybe a whole fest for like the food time and stuff. But I think they do a lot of fun activities, and they are going to help us with our car wash that we're doing this spring, our last thank you to the teachers. So that's kind of what we're doing at Riverview on the PTA end, and we hope you guys stress less, eat more desserts, and enjoy your holidays. Oh yeah. Any questions?
Right, thank you so much. Thank you to both of you, and thank you, Riverview. And then we also have our Principal Bellman, Principal Kaufman in the back, and our Vice Principal now. And I didn't see Vice Principal Forum. Okay. Well, thank you for being here, and thank you for all you guys do for Hillcrest and for Riverview. And I guess we will move to MEA. Oh, that's not Eugene.
Oh, but that's MEA President Mark Durfee had sent me a message and asked me to read that to you. He can't be here this evening. He wanted to let the board know that MEA very much appreciates the 1% COVID bonus, and it definitely had an impact on morale and teachers feeling appreciated. MEA conducted a survey just before Thanksgiving, and over 70% of teachers said they appreciate the way administration in the district have handled the COVID crisis. He feels like that's probably one of the highest in the state. So that is the report from MEA.
That is great news, thank you. Nancy asked to be excused, and Nespa.
I just want to take a second and say thank you for all of your hard work, many decisions you've made for the district, for us as classified employees that do support the teachers. They're there to help them, make sure that they're doing the best they can under the circumstances. We're grateful for the support that you give us as custodians, the lunch ladies, bus drivers, the paras. I won't leave anybody out, but we're grateful for all that you do and grateful for the, the 1% bonus was very appreciated, and we're grateful for all the hard work and the above and beyond that, not just you, but many of the district people here go to look to see what can be done better in classrooms. The air purifiers that have come to the classes. It's just another step that the district's, well, okay, what's somebody else doing? Okay, can we do that? Can we make it a step better? And so greatly appreciate the hard work that you're doing to, like I said, not just the board, but this, the DO, for all they do too. So thank you.
Thank you. Now, Jean Foundation.
Well, I don't really have a lot to report other than I just wanted to point out that even though it's been a COVID year, it's amazing how our rural community is stepping up and giving information. And, we were cut down, but it wasn't nowhere group that usually gets the money because of, we don't have as many erratic, underprivileged kids in our district as they do in Granite. So forth and so on. But one of the granddaughters decided that we should get her philanthropic amount. And so we were actually, I was notified today that we got $10,000 to go for Murray District. And I think even though we've been down on some things, other things have come along, just like the DI grant. That's different than the one we had. We just had a big donation, like a big donation. I'm not for that, right? But $7,900 from the associated kids, let's just come here, the bullshit IT. I mean, there's just so much good out there. I think the Marine community, I think, it's just something that has really shown through this year. We're all there for each other. Okay? And as they have said before getting up there, we appreciate everything that everyone does for everyone, because there's just so much good out there. And yes, it's been kind of a rocky year, but there's a lot of good that's come out of it. There's some things that go we'll never go back. So, there's good things that we've learned over the years. So, anyway, thank you so much. And have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you, Jean. And Doug, do we have any patron statements? Good. All right, we have a report of the board, and we will start with Mr. Cooper.
I don't have any specific report in this last month, but just wanted to say thank you to the district office and all our teachers and support staff for hanging in there. It's been a challenge, I know. Probably will continue to be a challenge. Appreciate what you guys are doing this going forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Well,
I just say, to cut chair this thing, well, we did say it, but I thought I'd say that same thing that we have wonderful teachers boundary. It's a neighborhood, not just some big city, and it really makes a difference for our students that everyone can just step up.
Thank you, Will.
It's a busy week at Activities Association, in the middle of realignment, but usually doesn't do very classification, whether it's possible moving the region, and I've talked about, but there's lots of things around us, but, a little different this time because I represent all of 5A classifications, but a lot of schools to track up the types of their little area schools, and so in the middle of that, we go for the public next week on Wednesday. It's published, but then we'll have public comment. And also now on the esports committee, which has been really cool to find out about all the opportunities for scholarships in the esports team. So esports, boys volleyball, and competitive cheer all potentially be sanctioned for next school year. So that's interesting to how much is going on with COVID, but other things still have to keep going and progressing at the same time. So I just appreciate all that everybody's done as well. I'm really fortunate. One of the things I've noticed is that I'm sure a lot of you follow the Facebook pages that are Murray citizens and Murray schools, and I just love when somebody has a concern and you kind of let it play out, and another parent helps address the concern. Hey, you ever tried this? Or do this? Or call the teacher about this. And they love Murray, like Jean said, and so they work it out amongst themselves and try to help each other. And I love when that kind of becomes a solution to angst and argument. It's like, hey, have you ever tried this? And that's an awesome thing to do in my community. So we're really fortunate.
Just want to introduce all the staff and students, because everyone's been with you in our lives. It's been an interesting year, and we just want to send my hopes for everyone to have a restful and not stressful holiday.
Thank you. I am making a goal to try to get into school this month, so I visited earlier today and spent some time with Mr. Kaufman. And he's super excited to show some of the numbers that are happening. And so hopefully, I'm not committing that I will get to every school, but I'm making it. So we'll see how that goes. Super excited about our COVID numbers, looking great. That just shows that these are the protocols that we have in place and the things that are happening. We have very few out for COVID and very few out for COVID. So both of those things are great things. And appreciate everybody as well. So now is my great opportunity. I think this is one of the best things we do as a board. One of the most important things that we do is hire or recommend our superintendent. And then as a board, we step back and let that superintendent lead and give them all the tools that we can to make their job successful. So at this time, I would like to recommend, and do I need a first second? Recommend that we approve or the superintendent's contract renewal for another 2 years. And I'll take I need a motion to approve that. I'll make a motion. I'll ask for a motion to approve the superintendent's contract review. I'll make a motion to approve the superintendent's contract. And any discussion?
Yeah, okay. That's about the confidence we work at.
Thank you. I am smiling. Thank you. I'm very appreciative, and I couldn't do it without all of the individuals in this room.
So before you say, we will take a vote.
Walk that back.
So all in favor of approving the contract renewal for superintendent Covington for ongoing 2 years. And any of those. Thank you, Jen. That is, it's a pleasure to do that, and we appreciate that, all of you. And then next, moving on to some exciting stuff, we will move into our audit report by acquirers and companies.
I love that we guys always get.
Thank you for having us. First, I want to make note the superintendent did not exclude the auditors when she said she couldn't do it without everyone.
That is true. Very good.
So, point auditor. Second thing, I'm disappointed with the SBO officers left because I had a suggestion to dress up an auditor day to be super.
What would that entail?
A white shirt and tie, dress and badge. Right now, we actually wear jeans in the office because nobody comes.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe they would need to clipboard.
I'll get rid of that. In all seriousness, we did have the opportunity to meet with the audit committee prior to this meeting and went over the details of the audits and all the engagements we performed. I'll just highlight 3 of the engagements we performed and the results of those engagements. The first is we perform an audit of the financial statements. The financial statements report the balances and activities of the district for the year and the balances at the end or at June 30th, 2020. And our opinion is that the financial statements present fairly and all material expense. So what does that really mean? And you've got the financial statements available to you. What it really means is you read through those as you review the balances and the activities, and as you use that information to make decisions, you can rely on that information to make decisions. It's the best opinion we can give on the financial statements, and that's a testament to superintendent and Richard and everybody in the district. That's awesome. The second audit we performed is an audit of your federal awards. This year we performed an audit of the special education cluster within your federal awards and issue compliance. I'll talk about it. Is that better? We perform an audit of the special education clustering, similar to the financial statements. We issue an unmodified opinion or a clean opinion on compliance as it relates to the special education cluster. We did not identify any question, costs, or findings related to that cluster. And finally, we issue an audit in accordance with the state compliance audit guide. The Office of the Utah State Auditor writes an audit guide each year, which we have to follow, that outlines specific state compliance requirements that they want tested. This is not all of the state compliance requirements, obviously just the ones they want us to specifically look at. And we issue an opinion on those compliance requirements. And similar to the others, it's an unmodified opinion or a clean opinion that you complied and the district complied with all the compliance requirements outlined in that guide. So once again, a clean opinion and the best opinion. We appreciate our association with the district. The opportunity to work with you. Any questions at all? Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. And a great thanks to our business administrator, Richard Reeds, for keeping us in compliance and according to our audit, we are in a strong financial position, which is great. We appreciate that. Great. Next is our student supports.
Yeah, one of those is yelling on.
Okay, let's get started. I first just want to thanks Jen for this opportunity to come and share with you a few of the school and student supports we're doing this year. Because of the time, I'm really just going to focus on some of our secondary efforts, and then hopefully we'll have an opportunity to come share some of our elementary efforts after. Please don't hesitate to stop and ask me questions. I really like to hear from you as board members, your feedback and your ideas, because you do have a wealth of knowledge and it is important to assess the work we do in the district. So to kind of put a structure to our discussion tonight, I really want you to think about the 3 A's, because when I work with my staff, this is really what I work with them on, is to think about if we want our students to achieve, we really need to think about our relationships, the attachments that we build with them. From then, I think we really get them attendance because they are willing to engage with us, not only physically, but I'd say also mentally, to really be part of our instruction and the interventions that we give to them. And then from that, we get our achievement. So really looking at those 3 A's, the 3 things I really wanted to share with you today, and I'd say as part of our efforts, because we have so many that are going on right now in this day and age of COVID. And it was really hard to narrow it down, but I thought, let's kind of start with those things that are new. And then also maybe an update from the Spartan Support Center that started about 1 year ago this month. So we'll go ahead and really look at those. So first being Spartan Support Center. The Spartan Support Center exists in our district because last year when I was thinking, oh great, we're just a few days away from our holiday break, I was notified by the Utah State Board of Education and the Live for Life Utah group home that they had just moved into our boundaries, and we would have to have a classroom ready by the time I returned from holiday break. So it was like, what? Oh great, we're almost to holiday. I thought it was going to be. So we were really lucky to get that all put together in a short amount of time. If you're not familiar with the Live for Life group home, it is a transitional group home of young men ages 16 to 19 that have been in secure care facilities for either numerous misdemeanor or felony charges. As part of that, we really then sat down and said, what really is our mission statement of this Spartan Support Center? And you can see it here on the screen. The mission of the Spartan Support Center is to improve educational outcomes by investing in the potential and dignity of all students we serve. And really, it is when we are talking about these young men, their potential and their dignity. As I work to have that attachment with them and get to know them, they all come from, I'd say, very dysfunctional backgrounds. Each young man that we've served has had a missing father in their life, been bounced around by multiple family members, or undocumented. We have a student right now with us that it's hard to get employment for him because he is under that dreamer status. And we can't get the proper paperwork to get him employed, but hopefully we will be able to get that in place here very quickly. I should make sure. I wanted to share some of this information with you also because tomorrow I will be meeting with our interagency council for our youth and care program. So as I started to prepare some of that information to share with them, I feel it was important to you to also hear about the youth and care side of the Spartan Support Center. But then also wanted to share with you how that is grown into, I'd say, a larger initiative and support at Murray High School that we did not anticipate, but we really welcome that. So to kind of look at those outcomes, here you'll see these are the students we have served since opening. There's the beginning GPAs and then the ending GPAs as they exit our program. I'm super proud of our staff and our teachers about this because I really think it reflects that we are Murray We're special and unique in the way we serve our youth and care students. Many districts isolate them and do not allow them to attend general ed classrooms. Our students are in the classrooms. And our very high teachers are serving them. And I think that is a reflection when I see this data. And as we put this together today, let me tell you, there was a lot of celebrations in that room to say, look at the efforts that we are making, and we're holding that potential of those young men and sending them off in a really good direction. It's also important to know that we're doing this, the boys, the young men are placed in that group home 60 to 90 days. So we don't have a lot of time to do this, but I think it really comes down. I have fabulous staff at Murray High School, Courtney Chrisman and Hannah Sequoia that staff that room. And this really, I think, is a reflection on them.
Like 60 to 90 days.
Yeah. So that's what they're entering. They're entering GPA and they're entering GPA. They live at the Live Life Group Home. It's on Winchester. If any of you are interested in visiting, we have a great relationship with them. We do spend time over there, and I'm really impressed with what a nice facility is. If you're probably familiar, I didn't realize Myra Larson, one of my YSC mentors, said she got her wedding dress there. It used to be like it's an old kind of historic home in Winchester on the west side, and I guess it used to be like a bridal shop. I don't know. But yeah, if any of you are interested in paying a visit to the group home, I'm happy to arrange that. So at night they're with the staff from the group home. So great. Also, as part of that, we have to run as a state requirement a summer program for these young men. It can run anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. We chose 5 weeks. The first 2 weeks we were still in quarantine, so it was a lot of Zoom interactions and checking in that way. We had a great time the last 3 weeks. And we split it up that way because we really felt like the last 3 weeks was prior to us coming back into the school year, because we wanted the young men to get into the habit of being back into school and getting up and having a routine. Our main activities is we did weekly boxing with them. We did art appreciation, the manhood curriculum, and music appreciation. And you can see some of the pictures there. It was really great. Nasir kind of down there in the corner, you can see him painting. He just kept saying to us, I'm not an artist, I don't paint, I'm not an artist. We were very lucky to have Stephen Sheffield, a very dear friend of mine that is an abstract artist in Utah, come and do an artist in residence with us for the summer program, and he is continuing that contract with us for our youth here throughout the school year this year, that they really found new talents that they did not think they had before.
Are there homes throughout the valley, right? Are they all this small?
There are group homes. So what has happened is the Department of Human Services used to run all of those transition group homes themselves under DHS. About, I think, 2 years ago, they put all of those out on contracts. So Live for Life Utah is an LLC. It is a contract provider for the Department of Human Services.
And I remember when all of a sudden the taxi was, so they
Yeah.
went there in our boundaries.
Mhm.
They were required to get these services.
Right.
So then, where did you find these people? Where do you need our teachers?
Oh, great question. Thank you for that. Yes, we had, as part of our art appreciation, and thank you for reminding me that I need to give him a shout out. John Smith, the digital photography teacher at the high school, was willing to come in and do a week-long session with the young men on digital photography. And then as far as the other staff, you can see Courtney up at the top with the voice. That is Courtney Chrisman. She is a staff member. And then down in the far corner, I can't see exactly, that is Jesus Martinez, the director of the group home, and Leoni, who was one of their staff members. So at the end of the year celebration, meaning end of summer school, we all went up to celebrate. And I was really surprised that they had never been up. Just nowhere, I'm surprised when we go to a restaurant and they don't put an appetizer. And, you know, we find that a lot of our activities we do with them really are becoming youth development or youth enrichment activities.
So impressed by multiple people all put this together.
It's been a movement. Yeah.
That's amazing. I think it sounds like an amazing program, but man, people-
I think it really speaks to the support that I have here at the district. Shannon, and I would really have to say Darren has been really phenomenal, and I think at times I even say patient with me. This is like worse, Carol. I'm usually at the high school in this program a lot of times. So, now I kind of really want to point out when I said, you know, the Spartan Support Center was funded under Youth and Care funds. It was put together for that purpose, but it really has grown into, I'd say, support for a good share of our students at Marine High School. Just so you could kind of see, I put a few of these things in front of you. We recently did these postcards because as part of our outreach to students that were our online students not engaging, or those students that were getting very close to D10 unenrolled from school, we thought, you know, how can we do outreach? How can we do home visits? So you'll see Courtney and Kana's there on the postcard together. They have been doing a lot of mentoring for students that are just not YIC students. Most recently, a really great success story, there was a safe school violation at Marine High School, and this was a young man that had recently come from Mexico and was really struggling. On a daily basis now, he comes into the Spartan Support Center and sits there and receives services from Not to Toy with the team of behavioral health. And I'll share information with you about the team of behavioral health and that partnership that we started this year. So really, the Spartan Support Center is doing home visits. They leave these behind. If the parents aren't there, Courtney even put little gift bags together. We sent them in now. They're in the counseling offices, so the parents come in and say, I'm at a loss. What do I do? Or where can I get some support? They're in the library on the counter, so students are walking through and feel like they need something. So just trying to have the word out there. And so I'd say, you know, it really has become parent outreach, academic tutoring, emotional supports for students. I'll show you some of the data. Translation services. We're super lucky that Kana speaks two languages. He speaks Tongan and Spanish. So we find ourselves doing a lot of translation services, and really has become a safe place for students. We're kind of a small room, so I'm worried at times the students that are in there, but Scott Wamani has basically given us a little kind of landing area in the second floor that we're going to purchase some additional furniture, so we're better separated.
Awesome. Because if it came in the mail, you're trying your hardest because don't aware of
Or you're working multiple jobs and
Yeah.
it's on your door. I mean, we're just trying to think across whatever ways. Not all of our parents are able or have the time to do emails.
So if you got a phone number, you can wait.
Right. And we always joke that Courtney and I have the most welcoming smiles. It's hard to see so small on here. Next time we print it, I want their picture with it because they're seriously a really great staff. When we started to, and I know this is really hard to read, but when we started the Spartan Support Center and started witnessing students drop in, I said to Courtney, we really need to capture this data for multiple reasons. Those students that are self-identifying themselves, we're needing more help. Information that we can share during a student support team meeting and just really tracking these students. During that time that we were open from January to March, we had 458 visits by students. So I can't even imagine like what it would have been if we had done the whole year. The other thing we did was I had them say, why are you here? Because Courtney is cool. Courtney is very cool. You'll see that's one of our third highest.
But that's also because that's the test.
Yes.
Courtney that's cool, right?
Courtney and Connor are very cool and they want to be around. Grab a snack. We just, of course, kids want food. Then you'll say just to say hi, check in, say hi, check in, grab a snack. So just another way that we really do process that data to try to say what has the Spartan Support Center for us. I always live in a bit of a fear that will we maintain because so much of the efforts and initiatives I do are all grant-based. So we really work closely with our group home because if for some reason that group home was to leave our boundaries or was not going to be successful, I would not have the funding for the Spartan Support Center. The next thing that we really started this year, looking at that data I just shared with you and knowing that COVID has had a high impact on our student population and those students saying, I need more of this Spartan Support Center time, was our Utah State Board of Education grant that I wrote this year, our substance abuse prevention grant, really now has gone to fund this after school program. It started this week. And so this is our first week. As you see it, it's Monday through Thursday from 2 to 4:30. And we called it the plug because we like that acronym. That students knew they could come there to connect to services or supports, learn new skills, unite with good peers, and build on their own strengths. So you see I kind of took some pictures there. We started on Monday, we had about 8 students show up. We're thinking, okay, since then it has almost tripled. So we're now to the point that we're, because of COVID and all of that, looking for another classroom. We're going to probably have to grow it into a second classroom. Any questions on that? I was going to say, I do have a lot more than 8 were in our first week. We just completed our first week. Students seem to really be liking it. We even had 2 parents that actually delivered their students right to the classroom on the first day. All right, that's a big thing there. Through our identified list through our student support team meeting, working with our other counselors, we did also call parents personally. That's why some parents had brought their students in because we tried to identify and target specific students that were very close to D10, that had multiple Fs, that had some risk factors. So we worked with the school counselors, student support team meeting, building administrators to really identify the kids, and then also use that data of those students that had self-identified last year coming to the Spartan Support Center and had multiple visits to us already. Just the last thing I want to talk to you about is our partnership with Latino Behavioral Health. I was attending Salt Lake County Suicide Prevention Coalition meeting. And when Javier, the director of Latino Behavioral Health, heard that I was from Murray School District, and I think it speaks to what a great reputation our district has, because we are the first district to have this type of collaboration in the state with Latino Behavioral Health. If you're not, and then also under Jen's leadership, Jen coming to me knowing that we were trying to put together our COVID response plan, our COVID need, came to me and said, you know, what is out there that we need to really look at and use some of our additional funds for this year. And it really was this partnership with Latino Behavioral Health, because we also knew that this was a population that is typically underrepresented and underserved. And particularly as COVID, because so many of these families are in the service industry that are shutting down. So really had a need for their help. With some great efforts with Doug Perry, who helped us really do a nice PR plan for the district to roll it out. You have, and I apologize, you have one of the misprints, but we sent out all the good ones. But this print was very nice to be printed for us. We pulled from our Aspire system all of the families in the district that had identified as Latino and Hispanic in registration, and sent out one of these postcards to all those families from all of the schools in her district, knowing that Latino behavioral health was out there in support for them. It really is a nonprofit grassroots organization. All of their either certified peer-to-peer specialists or therapists are from Latino backgrounds. It's a bilingual that speaks Spanish, so that is really helpful. Really what their help services are these things, so peer-to-peer mentoring, therapy, education, support groups. They come and do public presentations and trainings to Latino populations and just professional development. We're super lucky to have Nata Choi as our, and this is a picture of Nata today in the after-school program, working with a young lady that had just come from Peru this week. Is her first week at Marine High School. She speaks no English, so to have him has been so valuable. Really what we also had to kind of start looking at, because the standard peer-to-peer certification that he has through the Department of Human Services is very mental health focused. But as we got into the schools, he even came to me and said, Carol, this is probably more academic peer focused than what I'm used to. And so as we worked together, we really said, here's our key points that we can do and use UNATA. And it's really connecting with the students and teachers and counselors because of that bilingual situation, referring students. So as he meets with certain students, he can refer them on. He is not a therapist, he's just a certified peer-to-peer specialist. He can refer that family to Latino behavioral health services. He's really helped connect with academic support and find those students for an after-school program. He has helped re-enroll some of those students that went D10 because of those language barriers that maybe their family or their parents weren't understanding the COVID situations and the education structures we've set in. And he really re-engaged students online. He has developed great trust with the guardians and really helped facilitate integration of those ELL students into our schools. This is just kind of the process that we have used. It's either the counselor administration or the support staff really connects with Nata. He then connects with the students and parents, the parents to the counselors, and then himself working with those students, really providing supports with the teachers, with counselors for academics. If they need Latino behavioral health, the after-school program, and our smart support center. So it kind of just shows that flow. I gave you one of his bookmarks. He loves these bookmarks. He is so excited about them. He passes them out to everybody. He really has just started the first part of November, but this is the numbers that he's put together for so far that. So he's made 30 students and parents actually face-to-face or home visit type contacts. He's helped 2 students get re-enrolled. 9 online students now are engaging because of this support. 4 ELL students have re-engaged. He's had, those 30 are just contacts. 2 successful home visits and 4 parent school visits where as he's emailing them in their native language or calling them in their native language, we're starting to see those parents now willing to come into this. Then just the last thing I want to mention to you that's new this year as part of our USBD substance abuse grant is last year when COVID hit, I ran 4 virtual book clubs for our staff members to kind of have networking and still feel connected, and that was very successful. So as part of our grant this year, I wrote into professional development on substance abuse prevention. As you know, that was awarded. So I reached out to Jason Burrow-Sanchez. He's the department chair at the University of Utah in the Department of School Psychology. He recommended this book. Why do they do what they do? I put also a copy of his proposal that he sent me this week for you to see what he has put together as far as a training opportunity for our staff. We were able to write into the grant that and I'm hoping, but what I have plans for is 100 staff members who can participate in this virtual professional development opportunity. Receive a USBE brain change or practice credit, and also a copy of the book. So, that's kind of what I have to share with you today. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take those. Thank you for that quote. And that's what we're really seeing is one student comes to the after school program or one student comes to the student support center, builds that connection, those relationships, and starts bringing their friends in. And that's what we're really seeing. It starts small, but it's growing.
Sharon and I had a discussion months ago, like, wouldn't it be great for somewhere for kids to just feel safe if they weren't, somewhere they can go where they are welcome and feel safe, and we created that so great, and we worry about sharing stuff.
Well, what I'm really hoping we can do is now grow it into our junior highs and be able to, but like I said, right now, Spartan Sports Center really is on the those. So hopefully in the future, additional writing of grants, we can grow it larger into our additional schools in Marie. So, thank you.
Right, Mr. Dean, I think it's you. I didn't hear the winner. I'm anticipating what the winner was.
I didn't want to publish it until I think the board meeting.
You
guys might be good luck.
Is it as close as it was last time?
I'm guessing.
Okay.
It's always how you look at the data.
I'm a data analyst. I can make it look any way you want.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's the right answer. So we did a little bit of change with the union this last week. We got the calendar committee for I don't know, decades, and we decided with the union talking about that hey, let's streamline this process, and we put away the committee for this last year. And we've had years of data coming from the parents. So we didn't do a survey to the parents this year. We'll do one in 2 years again. But we put together 4 calendar options, and I met with administrative staff here, and then I also met with Marie Education Association. And we came up with 2 calendars, and those are the ones that you saw for the vote. And so this is calendar A, and I know there's a lot of lovely colors on there, but if you just kind of look at the red is your start date. Red is your end date, and all the green is your vacation. The other stuff are professional development and things like that. So this has the 2-week Christmas block. We put one to start on the 16th, just because other districts around the state are all starting on the 16th this next year, and that's an early start. And so if we do the full 2 weeks of Christmas and all of our other traditional fall break, Thanksgiving, and everything, we'd end on the 2nd. So that was calendar A. Calendar B, same start date, everything's the same, except you shorten up, you take 3 days, you only get 7 days on your holiday break instead of the full 2 weeks, but you end before Memorial Day. So those were the options that were presented. Down to the voting responses. Let me blow this up a little bit so you can see it. So parents and guardians, you can see the different groups. So we had 1,043 people vote. A couple of years ago, I think it was like 1,390 something that we had. 1,392 votes were cast. So we're a little less this time. I'm not sure why. And so when we go down here, you can see the calendar A is blue and calendar B So the parents and guardians overwhelmingly favored having, well, I shouldn't say overwhelmingly, 60 to 40% basically, having the shorter winter break. Those with the parents. And then you can see that for all the school groups, the teachers, the district employees, all of those, they all thought calendar A would be a better fit, having 2 weeks instead of 7 days, probably because they need 2 weeks to recover. So you take those numbers and you put them all together, and what are you going to end up with? I'm going to skip down over this one. Now I got it. You end up, because just of the sheer number of parents, that your calendar B has a higher percentage by about 9 percentage points.
And B was the shorter.
B is the shorter break. So it would end, yes. Calendar B?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so here's calendar B.
So I think what I would say is probably the biggest difference is like all for educators is on family and time before this. So.
And as a parent, you're like, no days before Christmas. So we need to look at both. I've had this question a lot of times, because in October you get 3 Fridays off because of how your professional development, your fall break.
Right.
Does it ever make sense? I mean, I know professional development, we used to have it. Would it ever make sense to maybe get rid of some of those days and put them on somewhere else? I don't know. So there's not so many short weeks in October.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do that. I mean, when you get into April, you see April has nothing in it. It's totally blank.
And teachers are, some people are like,
Yeah, and we also run into the problem and it used to be more of a problem than it is now, testing. I mean, there's still the testing thing, but it can be done a lot quicker than what every student has their own device. And some schools don't even need to start in April. So.
one other question, I know that 14th, 15th of October has traditionally been UEA, now it's called fall break.
Right.
Do you see most districts staying with those 2 days, or keeping them, changing them, eliminating them?
I think most districts are still sticking with it. Is it Jordan superintendent that has a whole week that they do?
In October?
Yes. Yeah, so you can see, I mean, there's lots of things you can do with breaks. If you shorten up the breaks, traditionally, our district's been used to having the fall break, the Thanksgiving break, the winter break, and the spring break. And so,
Everybody loves the long ones.
Does Canton do their PD during that fall break week, and that's why they give it off to the kids? Or that's what I'm not sure. I know that
I know that this fall break, the teachers had the same time off for fall break as the kids. Just because my neighbor's a teacher. But
yeah, so you can definitely move for professional development around without changing, I mean, other than the day, if you can keep the number of days.
Well, just trying to think, could we make some changes to take into account both? Because really, it looks like the main difference was the Christmas break, the educators wanted more time, and the parents wanted to get out of there.
Correct.
Would you think those are the 2 main things?
Yeah.
So can we shift around?
Like move fall break, those 2 days
Yeah,
of fall
because
break to
that's-
the 21st and 22nd.
Yeah, and because you already have 2 days off next week, right? The staff or the parents.
well, the 24th is a comp day for parent teachers. I'm assuming, is that correct, Eric, on September?
So that 24th and the 1st, the way one it is the
What is
secondary is comp, the others are professional
Yeah.
development.
But what is the 21st and 22nd of October?
It's the end of the term.
The 22nd just marks a teacher workday, the blue. The unions always wanted to have one at the end of each term. The 21st is a half day PD. It's half-day instruction, half-day professional development, so it's an early release day. But if you did take the 14th and 15th out of October and put it on the 21st and 22nd of December, it would just mean there's no fall break.
I think it'll be a lot of discussion.
I do agree with that. Well, I think the fall break we need,
Yeah, but
I would do something on the 21st and the 22nd.
By the end of May, they want to get out.
yeah, I need a fresh.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be challenging at the end of the term.
Yeah.
And they need that work day to prepare grades, and that's where it's challenging. We have parent, teacher, fall break, and term. Which that may be challenging.
And I don't know, I'm just brainstorming, so I'm not saying this is right.
Yeah,
Would the teachers be willing to give up their parent-teacher comp day to get their Christmas break? To be out before Memorial and get the Christmas break? I don't know, if this is way off, tell us where we are.
Anyway, you just need that day.
And that's what I'm saying, I'm just trying to see, can we make it accommodate both situations?
And I agree with you, and I think educators would agree that October is really tricky because you don't have a full week of instruction in October. I just don't know how you, because
You have to.
unless we move parent-teacher conferences somewhere else, like to the end of term instead of the middle of first.
But I think that's kind of scary because as a parent, you need to kind of see where you're at before the end of the term.
I think that's why we've done it in the middle of the first second, being able to start out. But
I have a question and a comment.
Yes,
My one question is that we've also looked at what the other districts, their proposals rules are and kind of try to align it with both for the teachers, we've got
And that's-
in other districts
yeah, this calendar would align better with at least with the start of school and the holiday break, the spring break,
which one was the
well, either calendar A or calendar B, if we start at the same time, it's running better align.
Yeah. You have, I've noticed.
Yeah.
But, and I have kids, who go to Murray, and I have kids with my husband who go to Davis, and our calendars have been off, way off, many years, where
Right.
they have spring break with me, but my kids here are off the week before or after, or Christmas break is not the same. It's mostly the same, but,
Yeah.
it's my other comment. So, for teachers and families who have kids in one like my own. Yeah, a lot. And we have custody schedules that we have to abide by. So for Christmas break, for winter break, I think, having only a couple days where you get off and then you exchange on Christmas Day, and it's just like the state custody schedule. It's challenging for both sides because this is only.
somebody gets a couple days.
Yeah, and someone gets a week and a half. So that's kind of, I prefer to go full calendar days for that reason, and not just for me, I can deal with it, but for the other families. And teachers who have to do it.
But I also don't know that we can ignore the overwhelming, not overwhelming, but the majority of our parents voted for this calendar.
Yeah.
The majority of our educators voted for the other. How do we combine them?
So here's a thought. We could look, well, I don't know if it's gonna work in elementary though. We could digitally learn. We could do perhaps things differently. Oh, what digitally learn?
Why couldn't we do digital learning on parent-teacher conference?
Or we could change, I was gonna say, since we kind of changed parent-teacher conferences this year to have open meetings, but it wasn't quite that way in elementary. Do we need 2 full days of parent-teacher conferences, or do we say we're gonna do one? And that may not work for elementary.
Yeah, that'd be gonna be
It'd be a struggle for elementary, I know, secondary.
You go sometimes, but it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for you guys for guidance.
No, we're looking for you guys.
Well,
The most applicable. Yeah.
there's never an easy solution with the calendar. There never has been, there never will be, because everyone comes at it from a different angle. And so you look at it and you say,
Every always has a spring break and people love that. Not where you can make up days, but every time you propose that, I've been on the board, these people love that long spring break. And now on it, where.
I'm actually surprised that this one's run with the parents. I really am, because I think most parents like the Christmas break. I mean, obviously now we're like, hey, let's stay in school.
and
But I'm really, we're like, hey, let's have a break.
I wonder if it was the Christmas break, but the ending before Memorial.
Yeah,
Day.
that was huge.
Because that, puts you before Memorial Day and you're out.
I believe at least 2 other districts in the Wasatch Front are ending before Memorial Day as well. We looked at those calendars.
The problem is Memorial Day graduation on Friday doesn't work.
Could you do that? Hey, Darren?
If we could have the kids do their own digital learning on 2 of those Fridays, it could be 2 days there. Then we have digital learning where they're taking instruction, but you don't have to be like on the other side.
Yeah, and I don't know.
But if I were.
I mean, right now, if you ask the public what digital learning, one digital learning day would be, it would be 3 days.
I asked a mom that was working, and my child goes in school, and my kindergarten child could not be home alone doing digital because that's just not safe. Well, I'm saying on the days that they already have off.
We would need to think of, I'm not sure, because right now we have a waiver from the board. They granted waivers this year for that. I don't know what the board will do moving forward. I would hope that they would continue to give us flexibility to be creative. That would be predicated on if the state board allows us to do the 990 waiver in lieu of doing digital rather than. So, and again, I don't know how to answer that right now. I'm just
3 days. We want to on the or, you know, like,
We do have to come up for 3 days.
so.
Hey, Jaron.
No, yes, and no, but we can certainly wait. Yes.
Kelly has a thought.
In October, with that one PD day right before the workday, could that PD day be the 13th instead? So,
The PD day on the 21st, I mean, it can be moved technically anywhere
right,
on the
just so you
calendar.
know,
That's kind of what we decided with teaching and learning. Those are kind of just plugged into the general spot. They could be adjusted if they needed to.
I don't know if that impacts Wednesday early out in line, what early out increment to be.
Is there a reason why we couldn't perhaps do? I'm just looking at a couple other districts' calendars. So in the valley, most of them are starting the 16th, getting out the 26th and 27th. Would there be a reason if we use technology why we couldn't do parent-teacher conferences for both elementary and secondary? I don't know. Is that too much? I'm just looking at one district is doing that. If we did that, we could save ourselves, we could save 2 days right there.
And I'll say the one, when they changed it to where they were separate weeks, it was super helpful for me because I had elementary, secondary, I mean, I had one in every school. But I definitely could make it work.
Just a thought. Looking at a couple-
I mean, as a parent of 4 kids in one in each school, it's tricky, but it's not impossible. And especially elementary teachers are willing to say, I'll meet you in the morning, I'll meet you in the afternoon, you know.
So I guess if you're going to do that, change the nature of the parent-teacher conference, then is that still going to take extra time for the teachers? Because if it's going to still take extra time, they'll still want a compensatory day. Even if it's digital, they're going to say, well, it took me this long digitally, where's my
Yeah, but
compensatory day
here's-
that I used to have?
That
Well, but that's what I'm saying is that we do on, say so the 22nd, let's pretend like we do elementary and secondary parent teacher conferences the week of September 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Instead of having substitutes those days, let's say we have digital learning days on the 22nd, 23rd, and we do parent teacher conferences and eliminate the need for compensatory days. So we do digital learning days those days. Teachers are in parent teacher conferences instead of teaching. But kids are engaged in digital learning. So kids are still learning. Teachers are also teaching. Teachers are engaged in parent teacher conferences on those 2 or 3 days.
And then you can both elementary and secondary, let's say your older kids are. If
You save 2 days,
if you're lucky enough to have that.
It's a little tricky for me, to be honest, to call digital learning days next year. I just feel like, yeah, it's gonna be a little.
It gets tricky with special education because we do have some students that's not a good learning platform.
Our parents want our kids in school. The digital learning is great and worked, but I just feel, unless we need to go that route.
But we're talking 4 days out of 180 versus the option of giving them 180 off days this year. If we give them this year. I think that's an easier sell than what we're trying to stick this year.
I guess it is the question is, the day to day work.
Yeah.
I think it's contingent upon the state. You'd have to submit that to the state, and so you're that's a whole process to get that going. It seems like.
And they may be totally, I don't know where they're at. I haven't asked.
And we don't know where we're going until we see how the spring is. I don't think how it is.
I'm looking for those answers. So I personally lean toward A for the reasons we spoke about families with joint custody and because I have heard teachers and staff say that whatever.
But how do you overlook the teacher, the majority of the parents? Because if we go out and ask the parents and teachers, we need to take into account that case.
So
The teachers are staff, one is option A.
I want a longer winter break.
Which is really, do you think it is basically the winter break? That's the major majority.
I think that's the major thing. Option A, it puts you out of the typical time, first week of June. It just gives you all the full holidays. That's really the only difference in the calendar. Is only that winter break is the only difference.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too.
Situations like mine, the summer is just like 3 months, it doesn't matter when it
Starts around.
but something like winter break is a really big deal.
hey, summer is awesome until about the end of July. And then you're.
So just for reference, that may help you as you decide, taking all of this information in. Jordan School District will be starting next year on the 16th. They are out on the 3rd. They have 4 student days of fall break. They have 3 days of Thanksgiving. They have 2 weeks of Christmas. They have a full week of spring break.
So where do they pick up all those days?
Well, they're going until June 3rd.
Oh.
Camden School District starts on the 16th. Their last day is the 26th. They have a 2-day fall break, a 3-day Thanksgiving break, a 2-week winter break, a 4-week spring break. They don't have, and they may have some compensatory days that they don't have.
But well, that's what I'm saying, is somewhere they're big because.
They might not have the teacher work
They
days
don't
that are union,
work days.
what's in there.
Right. What about Brown?
And Granite will be starting on the 16th. They have 2 days of fall recess, 3 days of Thanksgiving break, 2 weeks of winter recess, a full week of spring break, and they are out on the.
They
They are out on the 2nd.
they haven't had police for this.
So really, it's our teacher work days that are making it different than the others, which we don't want to take those away, but can we make it work another way? Because I think if we could get the two weeks at Christmas and get rid of or end of May, I think we make both. But that's true.
That's gonna be tricky, I think, with our union and with what we agreed to. And the two districts that are going longer, Jordan and Granite, have teacher work days built in. And so they're going until the June 2nd or 3rd.
I think the parents will be for this. I think there are MBA probably voted for this as well.
Right, so we go back to the,
So we've got parents and MBA. Could we
Go back to the one that
Oh.
where the teacher has their.
I mean, oh, one, two. Right there.
So, I do the survey, wake up her, I guess.
That's the hard part is if you look at our staff, it's not overwhelming, but they mostly want calendar day, but our parents want calendar day.
How do you make everyone happy?
It's hard to be on both sides and say, let's just go calendar day.
When's the last to be approved? Well, technically it should be in the December board meeting, but I think we could do a first reading and a second reading in January. Because that's my question, is if there's any opportunity to go back and say, hey, here's where we're at, is there one way we can make this work comfortable, is that compromise? Maybe we don't think we need to, there is, I don't know.
Another way is to get rid of some days during spring break, which really frustrate people.
Yeah,
I think in order to get the days we need, it's either you go longer into June or you shorten it up and you take away teacher days. That's really, I mean, I understand that, we can get creative, but there's only so much creativity we can do with our agreement with NEA and teacher work days. Yeah.
So are you saying we should vote on it tonight?
No, I'm fine. I think I need to think about it. I mean, this is a lot of.
yeah, I don't know, I think going back, in my experience is using it quite a lot. I mean, we may find some creative solutions, but if we go back for more opinions, it's gonna be the same.
Yeah.
The same division. You have people that they're pretty passionate, I mean,
That's what I'm saying is they answered the survey.
right, yeah,
I'm
we-
feeling about it. I have feeling about it. My kids are in school, so I would have answered the survey because I would have been like, I don't know. Like,
well, we can certainly leave this as a first reading for the board's consideration. And we can see what the staff here can, if we can look at it again as a staff and see if there's any creative solutions to meet in the middle.
Let's do that and just see if there's any options. If not, we'll come back in January and vote one vote A or B.
Yeah.
Is that reasonable?
Certainly, yeah,
Alright.
absolutely. Okay.
Because I don't know where we'd be. I bet we'd be almost split if we voted A or B right now. So, I don't know.
thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you.
There.
Okay, so, for my first agenda item, we have two amendments, community council amendments. I will present both of them. I did find that you can vote, you don't have to vote individually on each one of them, you can vote as a whole. unless you want to split them out. So the first amendment comes from Liberty Elementary. This is dealing with carryover money due to COVID. So last year they had $7,752 that they carried over that they could use, and they were going to do a PLC conference as well. So they also have that's some extra money there. They had $3,500 in professional and technical services that were going to go to that, and they also had set aside $2,000 for textbooks this year for math consumables. They would like to reallocate those because one, they can't put the PLC conference, and two, the district provided the math textbooks. So the amendment is that they would like to reallocate that money, and they would like to purchase additional FOSS kits for their lower grade. FOSS kits are for their science curriculum. And I know Missy and Robin have done a great job of providing professional development for that. So they would like to buy additional FOSS kits for grades K through 3. And then they would also like to purchase math fluency kits for each classroom in grades K through 2, as well as 3 additional kits for intervention groups. And so they would take $25,500 from supplies and add $6,000 for the FOSS kits and $5,000 for the math fluency kits. And they would eliminate the professional and technical services line, which is $3,500, and eliminate the textbooks. So they're taking money that was left over as well as reallocating. This did go before their community council on November 12th. In that community council members were for the amendment. None were against and none were absent. Any questions on that amendment? The other amendment is for Riverview Junior High. Again, this is reallocating excess carryover that was not able to be used due to COVID for the 2019-20 school year. And so you will see many of these. There'll be more of these coming next month as well. But Riverview would like to take that rollover money. They would like to use $7,200 to update technology needs in the language arts classrooms. They want to do some sound enhancement. They wanted to increase the language arts professional development budget. Originally it was $2,000. They would like to increase that to $3,000. They would like to update technology needs in their math classrooms, also with sound enhancement, for a total of $4,800. Increase the math PD budget from $2,000 to $3,000. Just so you know, on PD, they're doing a lot of things that are online, and so there are so many professional development options that way. They want to update the technology needs in the science classrooms again with sound enhancement for a cost of $6,000. They would like to increase the science PG budget from $2,000 to $3,000, and then put some more towards science lab supplies for $3,000. And so that's quite a bit of money. That is money that was carried over from last year. They did meet also on November 12th. They had 6 community council members who were for it, none against, and 2 were absent. So, any questions on those?
I'll take a motion to approve the school manifesto amendments.
I move that we approve the school chart amendment for review.
And a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed?
Great. I will let those principals know, and I will forward those on to the school data trust office for their approval, which is what next to Yeah. Yes, they've done a really good job, and you can expect many more next board meeting as well. Our principals are very much meeting with the community councils and looking at how to allocate those funds. And again, you can see they're really focusing on the highest needs in that review with math, science, and language arts. At Liberty, it was math and science, so appreciate that. Agenda item number 2 was an overnight travel request. I want to preface this by saying this travel request was already approved when the board did approval of travel requests last March was the second reading on those, March of 2020. However, Coach Wilson has submitted this with some additional information. So at this time, we don't need a vote on it, but I did let him know I would present it to you. And then I believe the board decided in last board meeting, as we got closer to events, you would make decisions. The item that Coach Wilson has added, right here is, it says near, so this is for let me go back up so you can see it. This is for the baseball tournament in St. George. It is March 11th, 12th, and 13th. It is for the varsity baseball players. And so down here, it does say method of transportation. Coaches will be background checking and drive any student who is not able to travel with a parent. This is the addition that he has put on. Nearly every player has always traveled with their parent. If COVID-19 is still a concern at the time of the tournament, players will travel with their own parents and stay with their own parents. So that is the addendum that he has added to that. He wanted the board to know that. I know that he had spoken to Vice President Johnson about resubmitting this because money needs to go. And again, I'm not sure what will be in March, but
I talked to him, and he was really excited about just having the opportunity to sign up, see what happens, totally understood. There's tons of issues behind it with the bill and everything here, and so, he liked our answer, that I just want, he got told a hard no at the high school in the lower offices, whatever you want to call it, and so he was glad to have
right, and I do appreciate the hard no. Our principals are being very prudent and making sure that we're making decisions in the best interest of the health of our kids. And again, information continues to evolve, and as it evolves, I think we evolve as well. And so there are a number of field trips not field trips, overnight travel requests that were approved for spring, that were approved when we did the approval in March of 2020. And I know all of those individuals are still kind of waiting to see what happens. And a lot of it is contingent on the High School Activities Association, if these tournaments can be run, the area that our county's in. So again,
I'm gonna do this, but we're gonna push really hard now on sports and activities association, because if not, we already saw this over Thanksgiving. Tournaments will be ran outside of us. And they won't have as many protocols, they won't have as many measures put into place, and there's a huge tournament over Thanksgiving already that kind of worked out when we were on the soft lockdown, whatever, for a minute, they still.
Well, and our spring sports have already been canceled, so giving them an opportunity. I feel like as long as we're within the governor's guidelines, the Utah High School Athletics guidelines, and that they're following the safest protocols, having safe parents, I'm better.
the only question I would have is, does it present inequity if they don't have a parent with them?
And I would say that what that is, what we need to look at, if somebody can give permission to another parent to take their child, kind of waive that responsibility to another parent. I mean,
It's a little tricky because I would say if in a non-COVID world, that's fine. In a COVID world, that might present difficulty of saying multiple families riding together.
I think that's just something we need to keep in mind. I want to have every opportunity for our kids, but I also want to make sure that if we have students who, for one reason or another, do not have a parent who can drive them to St. George
And secure overnight.
and stay with them overnight, I would hate for us to not be equitable in making sure all students have that opportunity. And that may be something, again, we might be in a different conversation come a month from now.
we have a room that it's easily figured out, make sure everybody has a parent.
But does it follow through the guidelines?
Well, and so that
Yeah, I think it depends on what we are and say about, because, a couple weeks ago, we were don't go to anyone's house. You're gonna have to, if it's like that in March, then they just can't have that.
I think as long as we're following the guidelines of the governor and our health department, our new governor, I guess, in June, it will be.
So with your permission, if you're okay, I will respond to Coach Wilson and let him know that the information was presented to the board. It is still something that can be considered, but we need to see where we are as we get closer to that. And I will also reach out to the other individuals who have had requests for overnight travel that were approved. The same thing, is that okay with you to do? Okay, great. All right, the next thing, my third item is in our November board meeting, we discussed a couple of elements of our return to school plan. And we have already taken care of the assemblies and the field trips we took care of, but there are 3 things that we defer to this meeting that the board needs to decide on. The first one is community education and community ed dance. They are combined here, but they can be separated out into 2. Currently, we have no community education and no community education dance classes held through the end of the 2020 calendar year. And that it would be reevaluated by December 1. We deferred that until this meeting in our November board meeting. You asked if there was some creative way that our community ed dance could think of doing, starting back up and being more creative. I think one of the things in talking with Kristen Davis, who oversees Murray Community Dance for the district, a couple of things would be mask wearing at all times for our dancers unless they were doing any type of stunting. And I'm not aware that our dancers do any type of stunting. The other suggestion was if the board would like to have community dance classes begin, not to do costumes. One of the things we ran into at the end of last year was they had purchased costumes but couldn't do their final performance. And not knowing where we may be in May, again, we could be in a great spot, we could not be in a great spot. We just don't know. And so not having costumes, but rather if they have a performance and they wear just they wear something unified. That could be a way to mitigate it too. There was a lot of concerned parents who bought costumes that don't fit down on some of those things. So those were 2 things that they felt like they could do. The other thing is there may need to be an increase in the cost for Murray Community Ed Dance to cover the additional custodial staff that will be needed. There would need to be additional custodial staff at both Hillcrest Junior High and Murray High School, where Community Ed Dance is. So it would most likely we would need to do a percentage. That's just something that the Community Ed Dance program would need to cover.
I would suggest that there would be a limited number of students and that every student would have to go around and stay right up all the way around. And you wouldn't have as many children, but at least there would be some children that would dance because I think it's still COVID.
Yeah, and there is a break-even point. When you limit the number of people, it is not cost effective to limit the number, have to have higher costs for cleaning and those types of things. So that is a balance that needs to be looked at. So
I actually went out and talked to a few families that use community dance. All of them saying, I talked to the families. 3 of them said, if it doesn't start in January, we'll go somewhere else and probably never come back. And so which I'm not saying it's good or bad, I'm just saying, I think that if we don't start it running, it might never get running again. And it has been a great tool for a lot of families in Murray to access dance that is not language. And it is good, yeah. Then I also look at the drill team that we have, and they have had and the dance team and the cheerleaders have had very few, if any, cases of COVID spread amongst them because of the protocols that they have in place. And most of the dance companies and dance places outside are still closed. So I'm just giving you that data, and not that it makes a decision or not, but if we value this as a something we offer, I think if we don't start it up, it might not need to get back up. But then we might not have enough to cover the break-even point as well. So there you go.
So I agree with you. We need to have the dance, but we have to make sure that we don't have girls on top of each other dance.
And I don't know how many fit in, I don't know
Yeah.
we-
You know, our dance rooms are not large. I will, you know, I went and viewed the community ed dance room at Murray High School. It's not a large space. And I'm very familiar with the dance space at Hillcrest Junior High. You know, President Anderson, you bring up a great point. We've got private businesses who are still doing dance. And so that's a great.
I mean, you're going in the basketball season and stuff, but they use some of the other spaces like this.
No, the Europeans are like that.
Yeah, our gyms are completely
What
booked.
about, I would like to stay or.
You know, we still have theater,
Without the.
right? They're just, yeah, space is really challenging. And also we still have our agreement with Murray City. And so they are still using our facilities as well. And so we really, I think, are probably limited to the dance spaces. It's the community ed dance room, the dance room at Murray High, and the dance room at
Well, why would we not open it up? What are the negatives?
So I think there will be a lot of things that have to be together now. I just say, I will just go. It's just like the parents trying to decide, should I do it online or do I figure?
It was, and so the community ed dance did a survey, and it was pretty evenly split that they would start in January, or if they didn't start in January, they would start in August. But it was very clear that this is a beloved program. And we have a lot of Murray families who really, really enjoy this program. And so.
And it is a financial, you know, dance is not cheap. It's one of the most expensive sports I've paid for. And
There's quite a few of us at this table.
but this is somewhere where most kids can go and get some dance training. And dance is a great form for, you know, just exercise, self-expression, arts, motivation, you know, just kind of things.
So I guess to answer your question, the negative is probably the biggest one, cost and.
Extra personnel.
Yes, probably extra personnel, and looking at some of the financials, I think, again, it would necessitate a bit of a bump in tuition. I'm not talking anything outrageous, but we would need to increase that by a bit in order to cover that.
But you think we can cover it with a little bit of.
I think so. I don't know, Richard.
I think it might go to take out some.
I know, it's just, you know, we don't know, but is it good for our kids? Yes, it is.
Well, and then what are our risks?
I think the risk is, you know, if we have an outbreak. And I think one of the things that we could do is we could say if 3 or more dancers or 2 or more dancers test positive for COVID, that we can do the same protocol that we're doing in athletics and extracurriculars. We close them down for 2 weeks. I mean, that's something that we can certainly say that if this happens, we're going to put a 2-week pause. If it's just on that class, or I don't know if we want to do a whole dance program. It seems kind of counterproductive to shut down the entire dance program if it's just this one grade class.
Perfect. Do we need to vote on that?
So yes, because it is, and we can, if you want to split them out, we've got the 3 of them: dance, community ed, and then facility rentals. So okay, let's split them. So
Let's take a motion on community or Murray dance class.
I move that we begin Murray's program, community dance program in January with protocol.
Any discussion? And all in favor? Oh, sorry.
I came into this discussion not really wanting to do this eventually. I just wanted to say that I appreciate that perspective. I don't know if this is next, but there was a split in our community, I guess, class, and I think that, I think we were, you know, how important it is for us to be so forward.
And I think it does serve some of the underserved population that cannot go to other dance companies. So that is sure. Okay, where were we at? Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Thank you. I will let Kristen Davis know. She'll be going on that. The next one is community education. So this would be our community education classes. Again, those are on hold. We have canceled all those. I will say that we don't have any, usually we start those in January. We don't have anything lined up at this point. If we help community education classes, we would need to hire community education supervisors as well as look at enhanced cleaning protocols. And it is it's a lift to get those classes set up. We're certainly happy to do that. I don't know if the board has received any feedback about not having community education classes. I have not received any myself. And so.
Knowing that you have not, we're not really ready, genuine around the corner.
Right.
Maybe by starting community, that's like kind of thing or cold water. We kind of get a start thinking about building stuff, see how it goes.
And my personal opinion, not that you want it, but I will offer it, is I think community dance serves our students. Community ed serves adult populations. And while they are every bit as important, I agree with you, Vice President Johnson, that I think getting our students opportunities and seeing how that goes, and then perhaps looking at reinstituting community education in the fall would be great.
Some of the younger population that's not practical, where you're that community education a lot of different age groups.
And the community education classes, they do have alternatives to go with somewhere else.
Yes, the community education classes, there'll be basic computer classes, and there's a yoga class that's been very popular. There's love and logic classes. So yes, but I think that there are other opportunities, and again, those serve adults in our community, which are very important. But I think it's great that we try to do things that serve our student population first.
And to add to your staff, at this point in time would not be something I would like to do. All right, any other comments? Okay, I'll take a motion on community ed classes.
I'll make a motion that we continue to pause community education classes until the end of the school year. Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? And all in favor?
All right, thank you. We'll move forward with that. The other one is facility rentals. So currently we are not doing any indoor rentals through the end of the calendar year. Again, the considerations for this would be if we do facility rentals, we need to hire supervision personnel to supervise, which it would take us a little bit of time to do that. We don't have anybody at this point, and it would add to the cleaning. And for these, it may be challenging for dance. I think they can hire a specific person. Kristen has figured that out. I'm not sure. Facility rentals would probably fall to our custodians because it's going to be a little more challenging because those are hit and miss. It's not every day, or we know that this is a routine thing, and so yes. So facility rentals, that's where we're at. We have been renting outside spaces. We did rent our fields for youth football and those types of things. This is just indoor facility rentals. That would be our gyms, our auditoriums, occasionally the classroom spaces that are rented. I think last time President Anderson, you asked what are our buildings rented for. A lot of just community events, not necessarily Murray community, but community events.
So one of the things I think in my mind I would worry about is that even though we may stipulate social distancing or limitation of certain number of people, I don't know how we manage that.
We would have to, here would be the challenging thing, and I'm glad you asked that. In order to have an indoor gathering, you have to have an event management template. It is not a school gathering. You have to have an event management template that limits the number of people, that says you're going to keep them all of that. We would have to have supervisors, and typically our supervisors are younger, sometimes even seniors in high school. I'm not sure they can enforce that. I do worry. That's my worry. I worry if we have someone who comes and refuses to wear a mask. We've got an 18-year-old who, they're great, but that would be challenging to enforce all of the things that we know we need to.
I would say it goes back to thinking I could get started. I move into this slowly that we're opening our building. I mean, we talked about for keeping our buildings clean and safe as our level.
For our kids. And we don't want to add to our staff. You know, where the community dance has their own staff.
They will, yes, they will,
They
they
will
will,
have to provide.
correct, right, correct,
And this isn't really affecting, I mean, this is still, we still have the agreement with the city.
correct.
So the activity that affect kids is still going to be happening. This is the dog show and the, you know, all of those shows, which I just don't think are happening, to be honest. And we're not really hurting anybody by not having them open. Right.
I would agree with that statement.
Any other discussion? Okay, I'll take a motion on the facility rentals.
I move that we continue to follow on facility rentals until the end of school year.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, great, thank you. We'll move forward with both, or all three of those. I appreciate that. My final is I'd like to request a closed session, that we're going to close session to discuss both personnel and property. And I would like to ask that Assistant Superintendent Bushnell and Director Dean stay for those conversations.
All right, I will pull the board Belinda. Yes. Close. Jerry. Okay, we will go into closed session after a short break.
Great, thank you.
Is she? So,
No, Robin had a major coverage.
She broke her ankle in 3 places.
how did I not know that?